So the real reason why I call it a primer is because what I've learned about eating food is the fruit and vegetables digest the fastest. Liquid digests even faster than that. So when I think about how I am going to approach my meals, first it has to be fruits and vegetables, predominantly the watery types, so things like watermelons, things like grapes, and then the more fibrous types like strawberries. Um, Oranges are definitely more on the watery type. Apples are more on the fibrous energy type. So you also have to then be mindful of the sugars because the watery sugars are in watermelon are completely different than the ones that are in oranges, which are completely different than the ones that are here in the apples. Moral of the story here is that the time I spent being carnivore, I now look back and realize that I always drank water, soda, juice during the meal. And that led to a lot of bloating and indigestion. And so what I have come to realize is that the more I can be 1, 2, 3 analog, then the more I'll feel 4, 5, and 6. So you're wondering to yourself, okay, how many calories, proteins, and things like that? I'll just give it to you very simply. I source my protein through the amino acids. What I do is I eat the amino acids so that my body can make muscle. So my body can then take it and digest it into all of the fabulous little nooks and crannies in my body. Before, as being carnivore, I realized, you know what? I have to eat protein, gain muscle. But see, the reality is that my body has to work an extra step to then take the protein, digest that down into an amino acid when I can have the amino acid directly. You see how fast I'm talking? This is also a byproduct of the fasting. This is also a byproduct of the BDNF level being raised. This is also a byproduct of me being out of the first primal mind and into the more higher level, higher thinking. Is it limbic? No, that's a limbic system. For all you Googlers, go ahead and Google that third mind that has nothing to do with the primal instincts, the survival, fight or flight, and has nothing to do with the cognitive, but it has everything to do with like the imaginative, the supportive, the kind of like a flow of life, the kind of stuff that you're more in tune to, like some people would call it religion or their version of a higher power and things like that. What I learned is that your connection to that kind of stuff when you don't consume any animal or meat products is so different, very different. I'm not going to describe it with words because you have to go and experience it for yourself because thank you, Taoism. Amino acids, proteins, minerals. I know you have questions about that. The only way I could say what I'm about to say is because as a guy, then we have things like testosterone, we have things like hormones. I remember being younger realizing, you know what, it's so fascinating how I have to wear deodorant so that I wouldn't smell. But then I didn't realize that the same deodorant I was wearing was causing me like a heat rash. It was so interesting how the aluminium was influencing my endocrine system. So then I realized, like, wow, if I stop using that, then I also technically have to change the food I eat because typically the reason why people smell is because of the food that they eat. The reason why people have acne is because of the food that they eat. And so it became so fascinating being able to cook my own food because then I was in charge of the ingredients inside of my food. And I was so in charge that I realized, you know what? I actually have the power to take what I know to be true, test it. So like, for example, I was talking about how I used to be carnivorous and have water with meals. I stopped drinking water almost 2 years ago. I source my water directly from the fruit. My skin feels amazing. I don't have acne, but that's also because I stopped eating processed and cooked things in my life. The simpler that I took, the simpler I looked, and the simpler that I ate, the easier my life was. And receiving the benefits of it is the 4, 5, and 6. I sit here being 5 months sober, a year and a half essentially of being vegan or plant-based or frugivore. And it's like everything I knew about being carnivorous was actually true for a frugivore vegan. But I'm also saying as raw as possible because I also personally don't partake in any of the like artificial or replica meats. That's just not for me. Um, Having had tried it and realized that this avenue that I'm on is so fundamentally different because having had realized, like, for example, I was just talking about this yesterday. When you get that thing in your stomach that's like growling and that you're hungry, you have to realize that in that same decision making thought logic process, you can choose to go eat food. But at the same time, your body is doing the same thing it does when you're supposed to be sleeping. It's taking the food, processing it, digesting it, clearing out your liver, your endocrine system full fire, and then you go and you consume food, your body is going to stop doing the detox and is going to go straight to digesting that big load you just ate. You have to realize that that same mental capacity that you have, that when you realize you have that power within you, is also realizing that exact sensation of being hungry is also the exact sensation of your body healing you. And it has nothing to do with starvation. It has nothing to do with food insecurity. It has nothing to do with any kind of label that somebody could put on a disorder or any kind of like false belief. It has everything to do with realizing what your body is actually doing. And most people, they just simply have to learn more and renegotiate the stuff that they already have in their brain to then say, okay, wait a second here. If this guy is right, let's just assume that I'm right, then that would also imply that fasting, by definition, is a useful thing for people. Now, how and why would that be true? Well, let me tell you this much. I make sure that my meals are at specific parts of the day because when I'm able to eat food, my mind is only on the eating. I don't do nothing else but the eating. My mind can only focus on the consumption, the digestion, and the absorption. During the day, I'm not thinking about food. When it's food time, it's food time. And then after food time, I'm done with the food. But see, people, they go and they snack and they snack and they snack and they snack because they're bored. Because they think that thing that they're not really using their brain to figure, you know what, this rumblingness, what is that? Oh, that's my body taking its course. That's my liver detoxing. Oh. So I should just let it do its thing. So that, because here's the other part about food is, you ever been hangry, right? Why do you get hangry? People get hangry. I used to get hangry all the time. You know why I used to get hangry? Because I had no idea what I was doing with the thoughts in my mind that were associated with the concept of hunger. When I learned that thing that's like feed me is really, why I renegotiated to being, I'm healing you. I'm taking care of you. I'm supporting you. And then all of a sudden became this thing of like, wow, wait a second. You mean to tell me that I can be full of life and full of energy and realize that I have the control to sit there and negotiate what my body's actually doing with itself? It was revolutionary for me because I didn't have to be hangry anymore. Do you know how good it feels to know that I'm in control of my own appetite? I'm in control of my mood, despite the fact that, hypothetically speaking, you could go a whole day without food. That's not going to change whether I treat you any differently or not. That is going to change maybe at its obvious, maybe like energy levels or anything like that. But at the same time, your body is such a magnificent structure. Just think about having control over being hangry at like its pure basic. It's so fascinating for me to realize that people treat people differently based on the food they eat. And then, you ever had a food coma? Why is it that you go and satiate your hunger? What do they call that? In religion, they call it gluttony. Like, essentially, some people would say it's called pigging out and just like stuffing yourself so much that that like you eat beyond what is satiable or logical or sane sometimes or rational. Because then the other people are going to say like, oh, like let's just say you did need a snack, like what would that look like? Do you know how much water or the liquid of like a watermelon juice or like a pineapple juice, you know how satiating that is for you? It's so fascinating for me to realize like I don't get hangry no more. I don't have a food coma is gone. Like it's just like I feel so real. Like it's really the only way I can describe it. And like even going as far as like, because there's people that are listening to this and they're like, this guy just doesn't drink water. Like, what happened? I could get in a coffee. I could talk about how because I don't drink coffee, I don't get split ends. I could talk to you about how I don't drink coffee and my skin is healthy. Look at how it glows. Like, bro, it's so. And my hair is strong. And my teeth are strong. And my skin, it heals itself. And my nails are strong. I'm like, I know. I'm talking it up, Mr. Crow. I gotta eat my food. I'm gonna continue with this. I'm gonna slice open some bread. I gotta cut open this watermelon here. I gotta see what it's like. Probably making watermelon juice today. No pineapples, it's okay. Make watermelon juice. Got cucumbers there, can make cucumber juice. Got mint over there, we can make mint juice. Mint watermelon juice even. Life is so beautiful, my friends. It's so... Atelier and me said it best. Starting again. Just start again. More of this in just a sec.